Welcome back. Did you know this year marks the 60th anniversary now of the birth of rock and roll? The man that we now know as the King, Elvis Presley, recorded his first song back in 1954, creating a new kind of music that we know as rock and roll. Joining me today is Kevin Kern from Elvis's estate, Graceland, in Memphis, Tennessee, to talk about how they're celebrating this year. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us. We're happy to be in the great state of Texas, where we know there are lots of Elvis fans.
Oh, I know that there are, and I understand that you're a wealth of Elvis knowledge.
We try to be the Elvis encyclopedia upstairs. So.
He started off as a delivery truck driver.
He sure did. Before he was the king of rock and roll, he was Elvis Presley, Crown Electric delivery truck driver, delivering parts and appliances. And one of the things we brought with us, this part of this new exhibit, is Elvis's pay stub, and we'll pick it up because it's kind of hard to see. Made $1 an hour.
Wow.
$1.50 for overtime. So it took home around $40 a week.
Boy, did his life change.
It sure did. It sure did. He became an RCA recording artist in 1956 after spending 2 years with Sun, and the rest, as they say, is history. So we're celebrating those 60 years of rock and roll and Elvis history at Graceland with the year-long exhibit there in Memphis.
So what else did you bring with you today?
We also brought Elvis's personal copy of his very first record.
Is that right?
That's All Right. It was July 5th, 1954 that Elvis walked into Sun Studio and recorded a song called That's All Right, a sped-up version of what was originally a blues song, and that was the shot heard around the world in terms of a music revolution, and the world was never the same after, and rock and roll eventually went mainstream, and Elvis Presley was one of the pioneering forces behind it.
But that's how he put his twist on it right there.
It sure is. It kind of took that blues sound and sped it up and swiveled the hips and thrilled audiences worldwide.
That's right. Okay, what
else? We also have, from the exhibit, we have Elvis's script from Jailhouse Rock, and at this time, you'll notice it says Untitled Presley Story. It didn't have a title yet, but eventually became known as Jailhouse Rock. And the reason this script is in the exhibit is because that Jailhouse Rock scene where Elvis and the inmates are doing the dance is actually considered one of the world's first music videos.
Is that right?
Choreographed and edited, and when MTV launched, it was actually one of the videos they actually played. And the last thing we brought with us, I know you want to try this on and wear it for the rest of the newscast, but
sure.
This is actually Elvis's red shirt that he wears in the finale scene of 1964's Viva Las Vegas. And so Elvis sings the title song and moves around the stage, and it's not a piece of casual wear, it's a piece of costume made specifically for the movie, and it's just one of around 200 artifacts in the brand new exhibit at Graceland in Memphis.
And that's what I was going to ask you. What else can people expect to see at Graceland?
Well, when you go to Graceland, we've got lots of great exhibits such as this brand new one, but it's also the most unique historic home tour you're going to see in America, shag carpet included.
I'm sure.
It's of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's a great time capsule of a generation, and Graceland is really showcases how not only Elvis lived, but America lived. It's an average size home by today's standards, but 17,000 square feet was quite large for the time back then. But also through our exhibits, we tell the story of the rise of rock and roll and various aspects of Elvis Presley's life. So there's a lot to see and do at Graceland. Also Memphis, we've got Beale Street, the National Civil Rights Museum. I know some folks in Texas may debate us, but the best barbecue on both sides of the Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
We'll make that claim.
An Austin rival there.
Yes, yes.
So I wanted to ask you, because Elvis died at the age of 42. Obviously his impact is far-reaching still to this day.
Still to this day.
But you have a younger generation now that's coming up that may not have heard about him or hear his music.
Exactly. You know, there are kids, they're still discovering Elvis Presley, be it whether they're watching Disney's Lilo and Stitch or Elvis Night on American Idol, or Katy Perry and Bruno Mars, who may occasionally cover an Elvis tune in one of their shows because they're huge Elvis fans. It's just kind of like a sense of discovery, kind of like kids also today discover the Beatles and Elvis. There are these forces in popular culture and music, and Elvis and the Beatles and many other artists influenced artists of today. And, you know, there would be no Paul Simon without Elvis Presley.
Right.
So we see all sorts of folks. We average around 600,000 visitors a year from all corners of the globe. Wow. And a good portion of our U.S. visitors are from Texas. So y'all come see us.
We love our rock and roll here in Texas, in addition to our country music. And so this is all at Graceland. Again, celebrating 60 years.
60 years of rock and roll. We'll be celebrating all year long with a special exhibit at Graceland. Also, great things happening at Sun Studio, where not only Elvis, but Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, all got their start. So it's a great place to visit. So you can come see where rock and roll started in Memphis, Tennessee.
Now you're just speaking to our heart.
Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll be right back.